question of where you're going.
Well, you get the taxi ready. You want me to catch pneumonia?
I'm sorry, Mother. I'll get a taxi right away. Sorry.
Oh, he's your son, is he? Well, if you'd done your duty by him as a mother should, you wouldn't let him spoil a poor girl's flowers, and then let him run away without paying.
Go on about your business, my girl.
Two bunches of violets.
Taxi! Taxi!
I'm sorry, Cotton. Buy a flower off a poor girl.
Sorry, I haven't any change.
I can change you for ground. Twice this for tuppence.
I really haven't any. Stop. Here's 3 halfpence, if that's any use to you.
Thank you, sir.
Here, you be careful. Better give him a flower first. There's a bloke there behind the pillar taking down every blessed word you're saying.
I ain't done nothing wrong by speaking to the gentleman. I've a right to sell flowers if I keep off the curb. I'm a respectable girl, I am. So I'll never spoke to him except asking for my flower off me.
There's a tech taking it down.
Oh, so don't let him charge me. You don't know what it means to me. They'll take away my character and drive me on the streets for speaking to gentlemen.
Who's hurting you, silly girl?
Oh, my Bible is, I never know.
Shut up. Do I look like a policeman?
Then what were you taking down me words for? You just show me what you read about me. What's that? That ain't proper on. I can't read it.
I can. I say, Captain, buy a flower off the poor girl.
It's because I can't come. I'm sorry, I meant no harm. Don't let him charge me.
Charge? I make no charge. Really, sir? If you are a detective, you need not begin protecting me from molestation by young women until I ask you. Anybody could see the girl meant no harm.
He ain't a tech, he's a detective. He's a gentleman. Look at his boots.
And how are all your people down in Chelsea?
And he told you my people come from Chelsea.
Never mind. They did. And how do you come to be so far east? You were born in Listen Grove.
Oh! Well, Alma said my leaving Listen Grove. It wasn't fit for a pig to live in, and I had to pay 4 and 6 a week.
Oh, live where you like, but stop that noise.
No, come. No, you may live where you please.
I'm a good girl, I am.
And where do I live?
Hoxton.
Well, who said I did?
Right. You know everything you do. Tell him where he comes from if you want to go fortune telling.
Cheltenham, Harrow, Cambridge, and India.
Quite right. Blimey, he ain't a tech. He's a bloomin' busybody, that's what he is. May I ask you, sir, do you do this sort of thing for a living on the music hall?
I've thought of that. Perhaps I will someday.
Hey, he's no gentleman, he's not to interfere with the poor girl.
How do you do it, if I may ask?
Simple phonetics, the science of speech. That's my profession, and also my hobby. Now, anyone can spot an Irishman or a Yorkshireman by his brogue. I can place a man within 6 miles. I can place him within 2 miles in London, sometimes within 2 streets.
Ought to be ashamed of himself, unmanly coward.
Is there a living in that?
Oh yes, quite a fat one.
Let him mind his own business and leave a poor girl.
Woman! Cease this detestable boo-hooing, or I'll seek the shelter of some other place of worship.
I've a right to be here if I like, same as you.
A woman who utters such depressing and disgusting sounds has no right to be anywhere, no right to live. Remember that you are a human being with a soul, that you are born with the divine gift of articulate speech, that your native language is the language of Shakespeare, noted in the Bible, and don't sit there crooning like a bilious pigeon. Look at her, a prisoner of the gutters, condemned by every syllable she utters. By right she should be taken out and hung for the cold-blooded murder of the English tongue. This is what the British population calls an elementary education.
I think you picked a poor example.
Did I? Hear them down in Saunders Square, dropping H's everywhere. you'll hear a choir singing flat. Chickens cackling in a barn, just like this one.
Yarn.
Yarn. I ask you, sir, what sort of word is this? It's owl barn. It keep her in a place. Not a wretched, close and dirty place. Why can't the English teach their children how to speak? This verbal class distinction by now should be antique. If you spoke Yoshida, sir, instead of the way you do, why, you might be selling flowers too.
I beg your pardon.
And the Englishman's way of speaking absolutely classifies him. The more he talks, he makes the other Englishmen despise him. One part of language I'm afraid we'll never get. And why can't the English learn to set a good example to people whose English is painful to your ears? The Scotch and the Irish leave you close to tears. They're even out places where English completely disappears. Why, in America, they haven't used it for years. Why can't the English teach their children how to speak? Norwegians learn Norwegian, the Greeks are taught their Greek. In France, every country knows his language from A to Z. In France, they never care what they do, actually, as long as they pronounce it properly. Arabians learn Arabian, speed of summer lightning. The Hebrews learn it backwards, which is absolutely frightening. But to use proper English, you're regarded as a freak. And why can't the English? Why can't the English learn to speak? You see this creature with the curbstone English? The English that will keep her in the gutter for the rest of her days? Well, sir, in 6 months, I could take her and pass her off as a duchess at the Royal Embassy. Yes, I could get her a place as a lady's maid or a shop assistant. And that requires better English.
Yeah, what's that you say?
Yes, you squashed cabbage leaf. You disgrace to the noble architecture of these columns. You incarnate insult to the English language. I could pass you off as Queen of Sheba.
Now, you don't believe that, Captain.
Oh, anything is possible. I myself am a student of Indian dialects.
Are you? Do you know Colonel Pickering, author of Spoken Sanskrit?
I am Colonel Pickering. Who are you?
Henry Higgins, author of Higgins' Universal Alphabet.
I came from India to meet you.
I was going to India to meet you.
Higgins!
Pickering, where are you staying?
At the Carlton.
No, you're not. You're staying at 27A Wimpole Street. Now come with me, we'll have a jaw over supper.
Right you are.
I say, Captain, buy a flower for poor girl. I'm short for me lodging.
Liar! You said you could change half a crown.
You want to be stuck with nails, you want? Here, take out a blimmin' basket for 6 pence.
The church. A reminder. You know, Indian dialects have always fascinated me. I have records of over 50.
Did you know there are over 200?
Why, George, it's worse than London. You know them all.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Shouldn't you stand up, gentlemen? We've got a blooming heiress in our midst.
Would you be looking for a good butler, Eliza?
You won't do!
It's rather down in town, I think I'll take you Paris. The missus wants to know when I'm a castle in Capri. The doctor recommends a quiet summer by the sea. Wouldn't it be lovely
Drinks is to be paid for and not drunk. Thanks for your hospitality, George. Send the bill to Buckingham Palace.
Well, Alfie, I guess it's home we go.
And what do you want to go out for? Liza should be by in a few minutes. She ought to be good for her half a crown for a father that loves her.
Loves her? Huh, that's a lot. You ain't been near her for months.
What's that got to do with anything after all I give her?
When did you ever give her anything?
Anything? Oh, I gave her everything. I gave her the greatest gift that any human being can give to another, life. I introduced her to this here planet, I did, with all its wonders and marvels. This lovely world with the sun that shines and the moon that glows. I'd pop to walk through on a fine spring night. The old ruddy city of London roll out and selling her blooming flowers. I'll give her all that. Then I disappears and leaves her on her own to enjoy it. Now, if that ain't worth half a crown now and again, I'll take off my belt and give her what for.
You got a good heart, Alfie. But if you want half a crown from Liza, you better have a good story to go with it.
Liza, what a surprise.
Not a grass farthing.
Now, wait a minute, Liza. You wouldn't have the art to send me home to your stepmother without a bit of liquid protection now, would you?
Stepmother? Stepmother indeed.
I'm willing to marry her. It's me that suffers by it. I'm a slave to that woman, Eliza. Just because I'm not her lawful husband. Come on, Eliza. Slip me half a crown to go home.
Well, I had a few luck myself tonight. So here.
George, 3 glorious beers.
But don't keep coming around counting on half crowns for me.
Thank you, Eliza. You're a noble daughter. You see, boys, I told you not to go home. It's just fight, hope, and a little bit of luck. The Lord above gave man and all of ours, so he can do his job and never share. The Lord above gave man and all of ours. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, someone else will do the drinking work. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you'll never work. The Lord above might liquor for temptation. To see if man could turn away from sin. The Lord above might liquor for temptation. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, when temptation comes, you'll get it right in. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, a man can duck. The gentle sex was mine for man to marry. Share his nest and see his limbs score. The gentle sex was mine for man to marry. Oh, with a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, you can have it all and not get hooked. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you won't get hooked. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of blooming luck.
Shut your face down there! How's a woman supposed to get around?
I'm trying to keep him quiet, lady.
Shut up! For once and for all, shut up!
Yeah, that's no way to talk to a lady. We gotta be neighborly like boys. After all, the Lord above gave man from his neighbor. No matter where on land or sea or boat, the Lord above made man to help his neighbor. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, when he comes around you won't be home. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you won't be home. They're always throwing goodness at you, but with a little bit of luck, a man can duck. Oh, it's a cross for a man to go to land with, and fill his walls full on with green down. Oh, it's a cross for a man to go to land with a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, you can go down to far down. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you won't find out. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of moving on.
I say, Higgins, could we turn on the lights?
Nonsense. He went back in the dark.
It is a fearful strain listening to all those vowel sounds. I'm quite done up for this afternoon.
Mr. Higgins, over there.
What is it, Mrs. Pierce?
Young woman to speak.
A young woman? What does she want? Has she an unusual accent?
Oh, something dreadful, sir.
Shall we have her in, Pickering? Show her in, Mrs. Pierce.
Very well, sir. It's for you to say.
This is rather a bit of luck. Now I can show you how we make recordings. First, we'll take her down into Bell's visible speech, then into broad rhotic. Next, put her on the photograph where you can hear her and turn her on as often as you like with the written transcript before you.
This is the young woman, sir.
Oh, no. That's the woman I jotted down last night. She's no use. I have all I wanted at Listen Grove lingo, and I'm not going to waste another record on it.
Oh, don't you be so saucy. You ain't heard what I come for yet. Did you tell him I come in a taxi?
Nonsense, girl. What does the gentleman like Mr. Higgins care what you came in?
Oh, are we proud? He ain't above...
What do you want? Sit down.
I've come to have lessons, I have, and to pay for them too, make no mistake. If he ain't above giving lessons, I had him say so. Well, I ain't come here to ask for any compliment, and if my money's not good enough, I can go elsewhere.
Good enough for what?
Good enough for you. Now you know, don't you? I'll come to have lessons, I have, and to pay for them too. Make no mistake.
How much?
And now you're talking. I thought you'd come off it when you saw a chance to get in the back a little bit what you chucked at me last night. And to drop in, hadn't you?
Sit down.
And if you're going to make a compliment of it...
Sit down!
What is your name, my dear?
Eliza Doolittle.
Won't you sit down, Miss Doolittle?
Oh? Don't mind if I do.
How much do you propose to pay me for these lessons?
Oh, I know it's right. A lady friend of mine gets French lessons for 18 pence an hour from a real French gentleman. Well, you wouldn't have the face to ask me the same for teaching me my own language. So I won't pay more than a shilling. Take it or leave it.
Well, you know, Pickering, if you consider a shilling not as a simple shilling, but as a percentage of this girl's income, I'd say it comes out roughly equivalent to 50 or 60 pounds from a millionaire. By George, it's the biggest offer I've ever had.
60 pounds? What are you talking about? I never offered you 60 pounds. Where would I get 60
Oh,
pounds?
hold your tongue!
But I ain't got 60 pounds.
Right, girl, sit down. Nobody's going to touch your money.
Somebody's going to touch you with a broomstick if you don't stop sniveling. Now sit down!
Oh, one would think you was my father.
If I decide to teach you, Eliza, I'll be worse than two fathers to you. Here,
What's this for?
to wipe your eyes, to wipe any part of your face that feels moist. Just remember that this is your handkerchief, this is your sleeve. Don't mistake the one for the other if you want to become a lady in a flower shop.
Higgins, I'm interested. What about your boast that you could pass it off as a duchess at an embassy ball? I'll say you're the greatest teacher alive if you can make that bet good. I'll bet you all the expenses of the experiment that you can't do it. I'll even pay for the lessons.
Oh, thank you. You're real good, Cotton.
It's almost irresistible. She's so deliciously loved, so horribly dirty.
I ain't dirty. I'll wash me face and hands before I come ID.
I'll do it. I'll make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter snipe. Yes, today, right now. Mrs. Pierce, take her away and clean her up. Sandpaper it if it won't come off any other way. Is there a good fire in the kitchen?
Yes, I do.
Good, then take all these clothes off and burn them. Bring up and order some new clothes and wrap her in brown paper till they come.
You're no gentleman, you're not to talk of such things. I'm a good girl, I am. And I know what the likes of you are, I do.
Eliza, we shall have none of your slum flutery here, young woman. You're to learn to behave like a duchess. Now take her upstairs and clean her.
I'll call the police, I will.
I haven't any place to put her.
But put her in the dustbin.
Oh, come, Higgins, do be reasonable.
Mr. Higgins, you must be reasonable. You can't walk over me like this.
I walk over everybody? My dear Mrs. Pierce, my dear Pickering, I had no intentions of walking over anybody. All I propose is that we should be kind to this poor girl. If I did not make myself clearly understood, it was because I did not wish to hurt her delicacy or yours.
But, sir, you can't pick up this girl as though you're picking up a pebble off of the beach.
Why not?
Why not? We know nothing about her, and what about her marriage? She may be married.
Gone.
There, as the girl very properly put it, gone.
Who's married me?
Eliza, the streets will be strewn with the bodies of men shooting themselves for you before I'm done.
Yeah, I'm going away. He's off his trump, he is. I don't want no farmies teaching me.
Oh, indeed. I'm mad, am I? Very well. Mrs. Pierce, you needn't order the new clothes. Throw her out.
Stop, Mr. Higgins. I won't allow it. Go home to bed, girl.
I ain't got no parents.
There. She ain't got no parents. So what's the fuss? She doesn't belong to anybody, and she's no use to anybody but me. Now take her upstairs.
Sir, what's become of her? Is she to be paid anything? Oh, do be sensible.
What on earth would she need money for, Mrs. Pierce? She'll have a proper bedroom and plenty to eat. She'll only drink if you give her money.
Oh, you are a brute. It's a lie. Nobody ever saw the likes of liquor on me. Oh, so you're a gentleman. Don't let him speak to me like that.
Does it occur bet you, Higgins, that the girl has some feelings.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. No, at least none that we need worry about. Have you, Eliza?
Mr. Higgins, I must know what turns this girl to be here, and what's to become of her after your teaching. Do look a little bit ahead, sir.
What's to become of her if I leave her in the gutter, Mrs. Pierce? Answer me that.
That's her business, not yours, Mr. Higgins.
Very well. When I'm done with her, I shall throw her back in the gutter, and it shall be her own business again.
Yeah, I've had enough of this. I'm going.
Eliza, wait just one moment. Some chocolates.
How do I know what might be in them? I bet a girl's being drugged by the likes of you.
Pledge of good faith, Eliza. I'll eat one half. You eat the other. Think of it, Eliza, and you shall have boxes of them, barrels of them, every day, and you shall live on them, eh?
I wouldn't order it, except I'm too large to take it out of the milk.
Think of it, Eliza. Chocolates, and taxis, and gold, and diamonds.
No, I don't want no gold, no diamonds. I'm a good girl, I am.
Excuse me, Higgins, but I really must interfere. If this girl is to put herself in your hands for 6 months, she must thoroughly understand what she's doing.
Eliza, you are to stay here for the next 6 months, learning to speak beautifully like a lady in a florist shop. If you are good, and do as you are told, you shall sleep in a proper bedroom and have plenty to eat and money to buy chocolates and rides in taxis. If you are naughty and idle, you shall sleep in the back kitchen with the black beetles and be walloped by Mrs. Pierce with a broomstick. What? That thing? Sacred, I assure you.
Oh, come, Higgins. This is no trifling matter. You know what I mean. Are you a man of good character where women are concerned?
Have you ever met a man of good character where women were concerned?
Yes, quite frequently.
Well, I haven't. I find that the moment I let myself become friends with a woman, I become selfish and tyrannical. I find that the moment I let a woman become friends with me, she becomes jealous, exacting, and a damned nuisance. So here I am, a confirmed old bachelor, and likely to remain so. After all, Pickering, I'm an ordinary man. Besides, nothing more than just an ordinary chance to live exactly as he likes and do precisely what he wants. An average man am I, of no eccentric whim, who wants to live his life free of strife, doing whatever he thinks is right for him. Just an ordinary man. But let a woman in your life, and your serenity is through. She'll redecorate your home from the cellar to the dome and get all of the enthralling fun of overhauling you. Let a woman in your life, and you are up against the wall. Make a plan and you will find she has something else in mind. And so rather than do either, you do something that you neither like at all. You want to talk of Keats or Milton. She only wants to talk of love. Go to see a play or ballet. Spend it searching for the glove. Or let a woman in your life, and you invite each other's strife. Let them buy their wedding bands for those anxious little hands. I'd be equally as willing for a digits to be thrilling as you ever let a woman in my life. I'm a very gentle man, even-tempered and good-natured, and you'll never hear complain. As the milk of human kindness by the quart in every vein. precisely what she wants. You are a man of grace and polish, who never spoke above a hush. Now all at once you're using language that would make a sailor blush. Well, let a woman in your life, and you are planting even I. Let the others of my sex tie that knot around their necks. I prefer a new edition of the Spanish Inquisition than to ever let a woman in my life. I'm a quiet living man who prefers to spend an evening in the quiet of his room, who likes an atmosphere as peaceful as an undiscovered tomb. A pensive man am I, of philosophic choice, who likes to meditate, contemplate, free from humanity's mad, inhuman noise. Just a quiet, living man. But let a woman in your life, and your sabbatical is through. From a line that never ends comes an army of our friends, come to jabber and to chatter and to tell you what the matter is with you. You should have a booming, boisterous family who will ascend on you in mass. She'll have a Lord Wagnerian mother with a voice that shatters glass. Oh, let no woman in your life. Let no woman in your life. Let no woman in your life. I shall never let a woman in my life.
How'd you like that? Knocked me for a row of beans, it did!
Come on, too little. Out you go. I ain't running no charity bazaar. Thanks for your hospitality, George. Send. Yes, I know. Send the bill to Buckingham Palace.
You can buy your own drinks now, Alfie, dear little. Falling into a double butter, you aim.
What tub of butter?
Your daughter, Eliza. Oh, you're a lucky man, Alfie, dear little.
What are you talking about? What about Eliza?
I don't know. Our own father, and I don't know. Moved in with a swell Eliza is. Left here in a taxi all by herself, and ain't been home for 3 days. And then I get a message from her this morning saying she wants a thing sent to 27I Wimpole Street, care of Professor Higgins. And what things does she want? Her bird cage and her Chinese fan. But she says, never mind about sending any clothes.
I always known Eliza had a career in front of her. Erring boy, we're in for a booze-up. The sun is shining on Alfred P. Doolittle. A man was mine to. The right hand from the bank. It was mine to help him on his girl. With a little bit, I like it.
Mr. Higgins, you simply cannot go on working the girl this way. Making Miss Alphabet over and over from sunup to sundown, even during meals. When will it ever stop?
When she does it properly, of course. Is that all, Mrs. Pierce?
No, sir, the mail. There's another letter from that American millionaire, Ezra G. Wallingford. He still wants you to speak for his moral reform league.
Throw it away.
It's the third letter he's written you, sir. You must at least answer it back.
Leave it here. I'll get to it later.
If you please, there's a dustman downstairs, Mr. Doolittle. He'd like to see you, sir. He says you have his daughter here.
Phew, I say.
Send the blackguard up.
He may not be a blackguard, Higgins.
Of course he's a blackguard, Pickering.
Well, if he is or not, I'm afraid we shall have some trouble with him.
Oh, I think not. If there's any trouble at all, he shall have it with me, not I with him.
Mr. Doolittle, sir.
Professor Higgins?
Here, good morning.
Good morning, Governor. I'll come about a very serious matter, Governor.
Born in Hounslow. Mother, Welch. What do you want, Doolittle?
I want my daughter, that's what I want, see?
Of course. You're her father, aren't you? I'm glad to see that there's still a spark of family feeling left. She's upstairs here. Take her away at once.
What?
Sure. You don't think I'm going to keep her daughter for you, do you?
Now, wait a minute, Governor. Is this reasonable? Is it a fairity to take advantage of a man like this? Eliza belongs to me. You got her. Where do I come in?
How dare you come here and attempt to blackmail me like this? You sent her here on purpose.
Now, don't take a man up like that, Governor.
The police shall take you up. This is a plot to extort money by threats. I shall telephone the police at once.
Have I asked you for a brass bargain? I'll leave it to this gentleman here. Have I said a word about money?
What else did you come for?
Well, what would a man come for? Be human, Governor.
Alfred, you sent her here on purpose.
So help me, I never did.
Then how did you know she was here?
I'll tell you, if you'll just let me get a word in. I'm waiting to tell you, I'm wanting to tell you, I'm waiting to tell you.
Pickering, this chap has a certain natural sense of rhetoric. Notice the rhythm of the wood notes wild. I'm willing to tell you, I'm wanting to tell you, I'm waiting to tell you. That's the Welsh strain in him. How did you know Eliza was here if you didn't send her?
She sent back for her luggage, and I got to hear about it. She said she didn't want no clothes. Now, what was I to think from that, Governor? I ask you as a parent, what was I to think?
So you have come to rescue her from worse than death, eh?
Just so, Governor.
Very well. Mrs. Pierce, Eliza's father has come to take her away. Give her to him.
No, wait a minute, Governor. You and me is men of the world, ain't we?
Men of the world, are we? Mrs. Pierce, you'd better go.
I think so indeed, sir.
Governor, I've taken a sort of fancy to you. And I'm not so set on having it back home again, but what I might be open to is an arrangement. Well, I can see you're one of the straight sort. You'd be the last man alive to expect me to let her go for nothing. Well, what's £5 to you? And what's Eliza to me?
I think you ought to know, Doolittle, that Mr. Higgins' intentions are entirely honorable.
Of course they got why, Governor. If I thought they wasn't, I'd ask 50.
You mean to tell me you'd sell your daughter for £50?
Have you no morals, man?
No, I can't afford them. Neither could you if you was as poor as me. Not that I mean any harm, mind you, but if Eliza's gonna get a bit out of this, why not me too, eh? Look at it my way. What am I? I ask you, what am I? I'm one of the undeserving poor, that's what I am. Think what that means to a man. Means he's up against middle-class morality for all the time. If ever anything's going, and I put in for a bit of it, it's always the same story. You're undeserving, so you can't have it. But my needs is as great as the widow that got money out of 6 different charities for the death of the same husband in 1 week. I don't need less than a deserving man. I need more. I don't eat less honey than he does, and I drink a whole lot more. I'm playing straight with you, Governor. I ain't trying to sound deserving. I'm undeserving. And I mean to go on being undeserving. I like it, and that's the truth. But what you do to the man out of the pride of his own daughter, what he fed and brought up by the sweat of his brow, till she growed up big enough to be interested to you two gentlemen, I put it to ya, and I leave it to ya.
You know, Pickering, if we were to take this chap in the hand for 6 months, he could choose between a seat in the cabinet and a popular pulpit in Wales. I suppose we ought to give him the fiver.
Make bad use of it, I'm afraid.
Not me, so help me, Governor. Just one good spree for myself and the missus, giving pleasure to ourselves and employment to others, and satisfaction to you, knowing it ain't been thrown away.
This is irresistible. Damn. Let's give him 10.
Now, the missus wouldn't have you off to spend 10, Governor. 10 pounds is a lot of money. It makes a man feel, well, prudent-like. And then goodbye to happiness. Now, you get up me what I asked for, Governor. Not 1 penny more, not 1 penny less.
I'd rather draw the line at encouraging this sort of immorality. Doolittle, why don't you marry that missus of yours? After all, marriage is not so frightening. You married Eliza's mother.
Who told you that, Governor?
Well, nobody told me. I just assumed naturally.
Pickering, if we listen to this chap any longer, we shall have no convictions left whatsoever. 5 pounds, I believe you said.
Thank you, Governor.
I wait.
Excuse me, miss.
And then sign those reedy bells one more time.
Blimey, it's Eliza. I never thought she'd clean up so good looking. She does me credit, don't she, Governor?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
Never mind any of your sass. If she gives you any lip, a few licks of the strap ought to improve her mind. Good evening, gentlemen. Cheerio, Eliza.
Now there goes the philosophical genius of the first water. Mrs. Pierce, write to that Mr. Ezra D. Wallingford and tell them if he still wants a lecturer to get in touch with a Mr. Alfred P. Doolittle. A common dustman, but one of the most original moralists in England.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what did it come for?
Say your vowels.
I know my bells. I knew them before I came.
If you know them, say them. Say A, E, I, O, U.
That's what I said. I-A-I-L-U. I've been saying them for 3 days, and I won't say them no more.
I know it's difficult, Miss Doolittle, but please try to understand.
No use explaining to her, Pickering. As a military man, you should know that. Drilling is what she needs. Better leave her alone, or she'll be coming to you for pity.
All right, if you insist, but have a little patience with the girl.
Look, all right. Liza, say A.
You ain't got no art, you ain't.
A! Liza, I promise you, you will say your vows properly before the day is out, or there shall be no lunch, no dinner, and no chocolates!
Oh, just you wait, Henry, just you wait. You'll be sorry, but your tears will be too late. You'll be broken, all that money, will I help you, Jerry Bunny? Just you wait, Henry, just you wait. Just you wait, Henry, till you're sick, and just scream to fetch your doctor double quick.
No. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
Didn't I say that?
No, Eliza, you didn't sigh that. You didn't even say that. Listen, Eliza, every night before you go to bed, where you used to say your prayers, I want you to repeat. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain 50 times. You shall get much further with the Lord if you learn not to offend his ears. Now for her H's. Pickering, this is going to be guessed.
Oh, you can control yourself, Pickering. Give the girl a chance.
Yes, of course. No one expects her to get it right the first time. Eliza, in using your H's, you are to put out air like ha. Now watch real close. When you take that and go ha, ha, ha. Now see how that moves? That tells you that your H's are being pronounced properly. Now if you drop your H's, the piece of paper will not move. This will show you whether you've done it right. In time, your ear will tell the difference. Now repeat after me. In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen. In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
No! Oh.
Shall I do it over?
No, please, no. We must start from the very beginning. Take it and go. Ha, 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 ha. Go on, go on. Does the same thing hold true in India, Pickering? The peculiar habit of not only dropping a letter like the letter H, but using it where it shouldn't be, like saying ever instead of ever. You'll notice that some of the Slavic peoples, when they learn to speak English, will say linger instead of linger, and then turn around and say singer instead of singer. I wonder why this is so. I must look it up. Now go on. How kind of you to let me come.
How kind of you to let me come.
No, kind of you. It's like a cup of tea. Kind of you. Cup of tea. Kind of you. Cup of tea. Kind of you. Say cup of tea.
A cup of tea.
No! Oh, this cake is good. I wonder where Mrs. Pierce gets it.
Yes, and the strawberry tarts are delicious. And have you tried the plain cake?
Now try it again.
Have you tried the plain?
No, Pickering. Now say, a cup of tea.
Captain!
No! Can't you hear the difference? Push your tongue forward until it pushes against the top of your lower teeth. Now say, cup.
Oh.
Now say, ah.
Oh.
Now say, cup, 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 ah, 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 ah. Go on.
By Jove, Higgins, that was a glorious tea. Here, finish the strawberry tart. I couldn't eat another thing.
Oh, no, chap, really.
It's a shame to waste it.
Oh, it won't go to waste. I know someone who's immensely fond of strawberry taste. Repeat this. With blackest moss, the flower pots were deeply crusted one and all. Each word clear as a bell.
I say, Higgins, are those pebbles really necessary?
They're necessary for Demosthenes. They're necessary for Eliza Doolittle. Now try again. I cannot understand a word. Not a word!
I say, Higgins, perhaps the poem is too difficult for the girl. Couldn't you try a simpler one, like The Owl and the Pussycat? Now that's a damn fine one. How does it go? Yes. The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. They carried...
What's the matter? Why'd you stop?
I swallowed one!
Oh, no matter. I have plenty more. 1, 2... The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I can't. I'm so tired.
For God's sakes, Higgins, it must be 3 o'clock in the morning.
Why could you on with a blistering headache, you cur?
I have had a... Be in the plane.
Again!
The rain stays mainly in the plane.
I think she's got it! I think she's got it!
The rain stays mainly in the plane.
By George, she's got it! By George, she's got it! Now once again, when does it rain?
On the plane, on the plane.
And where's the soggy plain?
In Spain.
I think the time has come to try her out.
Are you all right, Mr. Higgins?
Quite well, thank you. And you, Mrs. Pierce?
Very well, sir. Thank you.
That's splendid. Yes. It is time to take her out in public and see how she fares.
Mr. Higgins, I was awakened by a dreadful pounding. Do you know what it might have been?
Pounding? I heard no pounding. Did you, Pickering?
Why not?
I dare say, Mrs. Pierce, if this continues, you should see a doctor. I know. We'll take you to the races.
The races?
Yes. My mother's box at Ascot.
You'll consult your mother first, of course.
Oh, of course. No. We'll surprise her. We'll go straight to bed tonight and get up in the morning and buy a gown for her. Go on with your work, Eliza.
Mr. Higgins, it's so early in the morning.
Oh, what a better time to work than early in the morning. Where does one buy a lady's gown?
Whiteley's, of course.
How do you know that?
Common knowledge.
Well, we don't want to get her anything too flowery. I despise those things with sort of a weed here and a weed there. Something simple, modest, yet elegant. That's what's called for. Perhaps with a sash. That's it!
You've all been working much too hard, and I believe this train is beginning to show. Eliza, I don't care what Mr. Higgins says. Please put down your books and go straight to bed.
Bed, I couldn't go to bed. My head's too light to try to settle down. Sleep, sleep, I couldn't sleep tonight. Not all the jewels in the crown. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. I could have spread my wings and done 1,000 things I've never done before. I'll never know what made it so.
surprised. You see, Ascot is usually the one place I can come to with my friends and not run the risk of seeing Henry. Whenever my friends meet him, I never see them again.
Well, he had to come, Mrs. Higgins. You see, he's taking a girl to the annual embassy ball, and he wanted to try her out first.
I beg your pardon?
You know, the annual embassy ball.
Yeah, yes, I know the ball, but what girl?
Oh, didn't I mention that?
No, you did not.
Well, it's quite simple, really. One night I went to the opera at Covent Garden, and as I was coming out, incidentally, I was going to see Aida. And they didn't do Aida that night, no. They did Gotterdammerung. I'd never heard Gotterdammerung. By George, that's a rackety one. The tenor chap, he kept on...
But, Colonel, what about the girl?
Oh, as I was coming out, I met your son Henry, who in turn met Miss Doolittle, who is now living with Henry.
Living with Henry? Is it a love affair?
Oh, heavens, no. She's a common flower girl. He picked her up off the curbstone.
A flower girl?
Yes, Higgins said to me, Pickering, you see this girl? In 6 months, I could make a duchess of her. Nonsense, I said. He came right back with, yes, I can. All right, I said. I'll make a bet with you that you can't. And I did. And he is.
The horses are leaving the paddock, Mrs. Higgins.
Colonel?
I must go fetch her.
Colonel, am I to understand that my son Henry is bringing a common flower girl to my box at Ascot?
Yes, that's it, Mrs. Higgins. That's it precisely. Jolly good, Mrs. Higgins. Jolly good.
Charles, you'd better stay close to the car. I may be leaving abruptly.
devil they could be. Mother, have you seen Pickering? You do look nice.
Yes, Henry dear, I have seen Colonel Pickering and I'm most provoked. I've heard you brought a common flower girl from Covent Garden to my box at Ascot.
Oh, you needn't worry. I've taught her to speak beautifully. And she has strict orders as to her behavior. She's to keep to two subjects: the weather and everybody's health. Sort of fine day and how do you do? And not go on things in general. Help her along and you'll be quite safe.
Safe? To talk about our health in the middle of a race?
Well, she has to talk about something.
Henry, you're not even dressed for Ascot.
Well, I changed my shirt.
Well, where is the girl now?
Being pinned. Some of the clothes you bought her didn't quite fit. I told Pickering we should have taken her with us.
You're a fine pair of babies playing with your live dog. Ah, Miss Synesford Hill.
Oh, damn. What are all these people with you?
Mrs. Higgins, is this your celebrated son?
I regret to say that my celebrated son has no manners. He may be the life and soul of the Royal Society soirees, but he can be rather trying on more commonplace occasions. Ah, Colonel Pickering, you're just in time for tea.
Ah, thank you, Mrs. Higgins. May I introduce Miss Eliza Doolittle?
My dear Miss Doolittle.
How do you do?
Delighted, my dear. Mrs. Synesford Hill, Miss Doolittle.
How do you do? How do you do?
Lord and Lady Boxington, Miss Doolittle.
Good afternoon.
How do you do?
How do you do?
And Freddie Synesford Hill.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Miss Doolittle?
Good afternoon, Professor Higgins.
The first race was very exciting, Miss Doolittle.
Oh.
I'm so sorry you missed it.
Would it rain, do you think?
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. But in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
How awfully funny.
What is wrong with that, young man? I bet I got it right.
Smashing.
I do hope we won't have any unseasonably cold spells. It brings on so much influenza, and our whole family is susceptible to it. My aunt died of influenza, so they said, but it's my belief they done the old woman in. Done her in? Yes, Lord love you. Why should she die of influenza when she come through diphtheria right enough the year before? Fairly blue with it she was. They all thought she was dead, but my father, he kept ladling gin down her throat. Then she came to so sudden that she bit the bowl off the spoon. Dear me! Now what call would a woman have with that strengthener have to die of influenza? And what become of her new straw hat that should have come to me? Somebody pinched it. And what I say is, them as pinched it done her in.
Done her in? Done her in, did you say?
Yes, that's to do small talk. To do a person in means to kill them.
You surely don't believe your aunt was killed? Do I not? Them she lived with would have killed her for a hot pin, let alone a heart. But it can't have been right for your father to pour spirits down her throat like that. It might have killed her. Not her. Jean was mother's milk to her. Besides, he'd put so much down his own throat that he knew the good of it.
Do you mean that he drank?
Drink? My Here, what are you sniggering at?
The new small talk. You do it so awfully well.
If I was doing it proper, what was you laughing at? Have I said anything I oughtn't?
Not at all, my dear.
Well, that's a mercy anyhow. What I always say is...
Oh, and I don't suppose there's enough time before the next race to place a bet. Come, my dear.
I'm afraid not, Colonel Pickering.
I have a bet on number 7. I should be so happy if you would take it. You'll enjoy the race ever so much more.
That's very kind of you.
His name is Dover.